Tamer Chamma here of RotoExperts.com with start sits for you for Week 9. Today we're going to be taking a look at running backs for Week 9, and the one and only start I have for you for this upcoming weekend is Matt Forte. He's going to be going up against the Buffalo Bills on the road. And Lovie Smith made some interesting comments about this running game during the Chicago Bears bye week. He stated that he wants to get Matt Forte as well as Chester Taylor more involved in the Bears offense. He feels that both of those players are too talented, especially Forte, to not be more involved in the offense, and he feels that he really has been underutilizing them so far this season. I think that Lovie Smith picked this particular week to make these statements because of the matchup that the Bears have coming out of their bye week, and that, of course, is the Buffalo Bills. The Bills' run defense is just terrible. They're giving up 189 yards per game on the ground, one of the worst performances by an NFL run defense I've seen in many, many years. And that really should allow Matt Forte, despite the fact that he's going to be splitting time and losing some touches and some carries to Chester Taylor, it should allow him to have a very big week and have a good chance of finding the end zone. When you throw in his pass-catching abilities, really he's a running back too in deeper leagues for this upcoming weekend, and a guy that you can start at a flex position in all leagues for this upcoming weekend. I really think he's going to have a big weekend for you at the running back position. I have two sits for you at running back. The first sit is Michael Bush. He's going to be going up against the Kansas City Chiefs at home. And Bush had a good week 8. It was a little bit fluky. He had a fluky catch that turned into a 55-yard reception, bounced off a couple of Oakland Raiders, and it found its way into Michael Bush's hands. You're not going to get that, obviously, every weekend. He also had some yards on the ground and got a touchdown, but it was really kind of a fluky performance, and that's what you kind of get from Michael Bush the rest of the way if he does have a good week. You're going to get kind of a fluky week because he's not getting the touches now that Darren McFadden is back as the running back one and a guy that again is producing after missing some time with an injury. He's really limited with the touches, and that means his margin for error is going to be very low for him to be able to get involved in the Raider offense, contribute, and be a fantasy factor. So you look at this upcoming weekend, it's going to be difficult for him to get anything going given the run defense he's going up against. The Kansas City Chiefs are only allowing 96 yards per game on the ground, 3.8 yards per carry. So the chances for him of having some big plays and making the most of his touches this upcoming weekend are limited against a good run defense in the Kansas City Chiefs. You're going to be tempted to start Bush this week. There's a lot of good backs on bye, guys like Chris Johnson, Frank Gore, Steven Jackson. These guys are all on bye, but I would really try to put him on your bench unless you absolutely need to start him, because I don't think he's going to have a good week at all for you at the running back position. The second guy I would look to sit for this upcoming weekend is Cedric Benson. He's going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers at home, and this sit is solely based on the matchup that he has. The Steelers' defense, their run defense specifically, is really, really good. It actually makes the Kansas City Chiefs' run defense look bad. That's how good it is. They're allowing only 59 yards per game on the ground. They've allowed only 2 rushing touchdowns all season long, and they're only giving up 2.6 yards per carry on the ground. Just tremendous numbers for that run defense. And I think that's going to translate into Cedric Benson not really getting much with the carries that he does get. And also the Bengals going away from the run early in this game, or really not going to it much at all, and trying to throw the ball against a pass defense that you can move the ball against. The Steelers' pass defense isn't tremendous. They're definitely somebody you can move the ball against. So really, Benson's not a good guy to start this upcoming weekend. Like Bush, you're going to be tempted to start him given the lack of guys that are playing this week, lack of good running backs that are playing this week, but I would really look to put him on your bench unless you absolutely have to start him. So those are my start sits at running back for this upcoming weekend. A couple of things you definitely want to check out on RotoExperts.com. The first is our email and live advice. It allows you to get your advice when you need it and get it in a timely fashion and get the right advice in a quick fashion. That's really what you want to get for your fantasy football needs. So definitely check out our email and live advice. You also want to check out our exclusive Edge package. It's now available at a discounted rate. It's not too late to get the best fantasy football content on the web, so definitely check that out as well. Coming up later in the week, start sits at the quarterback position. Until then, everybody,